Welcome back to another episode of the Amateur Hour podcast, episode 40 to be precise. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you are listening or seeing our faces on your screen. This is it, a different sort of episode. We put on our stories, or we put on Connor's story, what topic you'd like to hear from us. And we are going to do probably one of these a week where we'll just go through a topic and then we'll let you decide what topic we will run through. And this week was, are you ready to go assisted? And we're going to go through all the phases, probably what you should actually consider, the considerations, the pros, the cons, and all things to weigh up, leading to your decision whether to go assisted or not. So, mate, how are you first and foremost?
Very good, thank you, sir. Blimey. Since we've last filmed, we mentioned the CPAP last episode. I now have said CPAP.
Official Darth Vader mode.
The sleeps, so I've used it for 2 nights. First night, I ended up taking it off after, to be honest, probably only like an hour. I'm just not used to wearing it yet. I took it off. I was just like, fuck this. Took it off. I just wanted to sleep. Last night, I think it stayed on for about 4 hours before. I don't even remember taking it off. I literally took it off in my sleep. Because I woke up and I was like, oh, I don't have it on.
Where's the mask?
But it's getting longer. But I'm hoping it's going to get longer each time. But the guy who kind of helped me with it mentioned, even at the beginning, if you're only using it for like a couple hours a night rather than the full night, that's still going to be a couple hours of better quality sleep that you're getting than you weren't before.
Yeah.
I mean, have I noticed a benefit yet? Probably not. I felt a lot better waking up today than I have done previously, so that's good. And we'll see. I'm thinking the full face mask isn't for me. I think there's one that you can get which is just like a nasal one.
Yeah, you can't get the nasal one that's just like up your nose.
Yeah. I think I'm probably gonna. This the whole headpiece on my head just feels a little bit like I've got a squid or like an octopus wrapped around my face.
Oh, I see. That's a good little
It feels what's the word? Like claustrophobic. I feel claustrophobic wearing it.
well, to be fair, mate, something is wrapped around your face that you're not used
Yeah.
to, mate.
It's,
But
it's gonna take a while, but I think it will be good. I've just got to get
and it
used to it.
has been super hot the past few nights as well, mate.
Bro,
Mate,
literally went to Big Tesco's and bought a fuck off fan.
mate, as I say, mate, it's been so imagine you being hot anyway and then having a squid
And
wrapping
then
around
having
your
this
face.
fucking thing on my face. Yeah, no. Wasn't
What is
that
it? It's like is it like Mario Kart? They get the squid and they throw it back and it's like ink on your face.
it just covers everything. And the thing is, if you get basically they're meant to be tight so you don't get like a leak of air coming out.
Hmm.
But obviously with the off-season face, the fucking cheeks, these lines that we get here, yeah, create like a gap. So I've just got constant air flowing into my eye.
Oh, mate, that bugged me with my eyelash. Like,
It's pretty annoying. And then if I do it tighter on the back of my head, it's more uncomfortable, but it solves that problem. It's something
mate,
I'm gonna have to get used to.
you're not making it sound good, bro. To be
No, I'm
fair,
not.
but
Give me like a solid week to 2 weeks of
give me
using it.
like 2 years, mate, and I'll be used to it.
Yeah, I'll give you a proper review soon, but I feel like
Mate, we're having weekly updates, weekly CPAP updates, mate.
yeah.
That's what you want.
Yeah, but other than that,
Oh,
mate, all
mate,
good.
I'm glad you're all good.
All good,
I'm
bro.
glad.
Yeah.
Weekly CPAP updates from Connor. Connor's CPAP updates. That's what we're gonna do.
You know what? I felt like when I got into bed with it on the first night, I lay there next to Lucy. I was like, I feel like I'm in a hospital bed. Like I feel like a fucking invalid. Just like I can't breathe. Um. Uh. It's not fun.
It's not looking good, man. I'm
No.
not gonna lie to you. But anyway, what's the record? 4 hours, mate. So we'll see whether
4
that's
hours so
pretty
far.
4 hours so far. But now, mate,
Things good
I'm
with
I'm
you?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. Probably had the busiest 10 days of my entire life, mate. Last weekend was ridiculously busy. Then went to Wales. Went to Wales, mate. So that was pretty decent. And obviously got back into routine. Went to Hull, which is where you guys saw me last. It was pretty decent for the team CBC seminar, which went down absolute barnstorm, mate. That was really, really good. Um, and to be fair, mate, I think I never used to know what I'd probably do after coaching. Do you know, people ask you, "Oh, what are you gonna do after coaching?" I'm there like,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna coach till I'm 80, mate. But I can probably see myself doing like some more public speaking, to be honest.
Yeah.
Really, really enjoyed it. I always have, to be fair.
Okay.
And it's not something I get nervous over. When I'm speaking about a topic that I'm pretty passionate about, I sort of know the ins and outs of it. I'm pretty confident. I can usually black my way through anything, to be honest. I did it in sports science where I was there like, oh, do you want to talk about this? And I'm like, yeah, I'll talk about it. I've always been that sort of dude that can just chat crap through anything. So when I know this, when I know about the subject, I'm not too bad. So I can probably see myself doing that down in the later years, like maybe I don't know, doing public speaking. If they don't want to speak about a few things or hear me talk, then
Talks with Tom.
get me in a 40 years time, you'll probably see me. But no, it's really good, mate. Saw a good amount of people there. It's pretty busy, to be honest. It was quite nice. So got another one coming up soon, mate. So due to the demand, had people already asking when's the next one out. So it was good, man. It was really, really good. And then yeah, busy, mate. Business is going well. Yeah, just the usual, mate. Very fortunate, very fortunate. So got a holiday booked with Charles.
I've seen.
So yeah, mate. She doesn't listen to this podcast, but I know a few other females and males do. But for you guys, I got she hates me. I used to wear budgie smugglers all the time. So I used to be a rugby player. As you know, if you're a rugby player or into rugby, budgie smugglers, oddballs, hats, budgie smugglers, bucket hats, whatever. I wear that on holiday always, and Charles hates it, mate. Absolutely hates it. Like they're bright, like fluorescent pink, purple, oranges, and you do look like an absolute knob. But I love it, bro. Love it. Get the matching bucket hat to match. And obviously, the past few holidays we've had have been like city breaks, so Rome, New York. So I've not had the chance to whip out the old budgie smugglers. Obviously, I'm not going to go around Times Square in some budgie smugglers, but obviously now going to this beach, mate. I've brought some, and she's gonna. I got a matching bucket hat and like some for her. Um, she doesn't know at all, and I'm gonna get her reaction. She is gonna absolutely flip her lid, mate. Genuinely,
Right,
and I'm still gonna wear it. I'm definitely gonna wear it, mate. And she's gonna
cool.
wear hers as well. She's gonna wear hers as well. So the matching bucket hat. It's like, mate, it says it felt pretty wrong, mate, when I bought a thong. Like it said oddball thong, and I was thinking I feel so weird doing this. But got all that, and I got it said you can get a free item as well. So I ended up getting the same hat as her, so we can have matching bucket hats, bro, which she's gonna hate even more.
Yeah.
She hates like matching stuff, like looking the same, like she hates it, bro. And she's gonna absolutely flip her lid when she finds out. But it's all fun. That happened, so we got that today, and yeah, man, all going well, all going well. Just enjoying the ride, mate, and then just yeah, everything's all
That's
good.
that's brilliant, mate. That'll be so funny.
Oh, mate, she's gonna absolutely hate it. Genuinely, I'll give you the guys the reaction when it comes, but yeah, she will not be impressed. But she's gonna wear it. She's gonna wear it. She will do. She's that sort of person that you'll be like, if you're a bit convinced, and she'll do it for the laughs. But her initial reaction will be like, you're gonna look like an absolute tit, mate. But I remember when I had my, I remember taking my checking shots in the Isle of Wight in my oddballs one time. Just took my checking shots with an oddballs trunks, mate. There. So anyway, let's go on to the topic. The topic was out of what was the other one?
Biggest mistakes we made and have seen as a first timer.
Okay, but you guys voted for steroids because why wouldn't you? So where
We
should we
we
start?
can cover that other one in another episode. So for
Mhm.
today, we'll do this one, and then we can get to that one in another one.
For
Um,
sure, mate.
yeah.
For
So
sure.
the topic was, are you ready to go assisted? Are you ready to start taking steroids? Now, it's sort of a taboo subject, I guess you could call it.
Mate, steroids, anything to do with performance enhancing drugs is a very much a taboo subject.
Yeah, no one
Very
wants
much
to
so.
talk about it. Um, so I mean, this can be beneficial, but I think it's also going to be like a wake up call for anyone who's jumped on prematurely, maybe without realizing.
Oh no, for sure, mate. I think whenever a client comes to me and I think about it, I'll always actively try to not get them to take it. Um, like I said, mate, it was pretty different in my scenario, but
Yeah,
which I still wouldn't recommend it, mate, unless you actually 100% got proof that you've tried to do everything in your power to try and regain the natural, like
yeah.
sperm count essentially. But yeah, that's what I would do there. So, where would you first start off with, mate? So you've got an individual that comes to you, mate. I'm thinking about going enhanced. What are you saying to them?
Right. So one, you look at the age, but what I'm about to say after this also kind of doesn't matter the age. It matters about other things. So the other things in question would be how long have you been training for? What's your food? What's your nutrition like? What's your training like? What's your recovery like? What goals have you got? Um, Basically, absolutely fucking everything in bodybuilding and even outside of bodybuilding.
Hmm.
Financial, like, are you able to afford it? Because it can be really fucking expensive.
It
Um,
is, mate. You
yeah,
know, I'm sorry, but it actually is, mate. If you, I could do like a full breakdown, one video of like the stuff you actually need to take, even on your first cycle. Mate. If you think about, obviously, your first vial of testosterone, that's going to last you however many weeks, depending on obviously you take in 200 milligrams a week. That's going to last you about 12, 15 weeks. Okay, actually, it'll last you 15 weeks if you're taking 200 milligrams a week. And then you got to think about monitoring your health, blood pressure, if you're monitoring your blood pressure, which you should anyway. Blood glucose, if you do check your blood glucose, I wouldn't recommend it. It's not really a major thing, but if you do, then obviously that's something to take into consideration for all the health subs that you have to get.
that's where your bank account
All
gets upset.
all the health subs that people don't realize, mate. The health subs are where it's going to obviously hit your bank account the most.
They're
And then you got to
expensive.
think about your pins. Before even all of these things, blood work, that's 160 quid right there. Actually,
But minimum.
190,
Yeah.
£190 now because you got to do it. You've got to get it intravenous now through Medichecks, which is an extra £30 on top of what it used to be.
Mhm.
So that's 190 quid. Pay for all your pins for the month, probably an extra 30 quid. And then you've got to get all your health subs, which realistically is probably going to be at least £100 a month if you're doing it correctly. That's £350 off the bat. The actual, how much is it is £400. And then you got to think of blood pressure on that. Good ones are going to be like 60 quid.
Yeah.
That's £460, £450.
And that's
And then you
just
got to think about,
only running testosterone.
yeah, only running testosterone.
Other things in play.
Yeah. And then you got to think of, have you got a coach, a good coach? That's £150, £75 minimum. That's £600, right? And then, you know what I mean? Like people, that's a month, like health subs for a month. Well, obviously blood pressure monitor, but then you're probably looking at about £400 a month. And it's crazy, mate. Genuinely, it is crazy. So firstly, from a financial perspective, most definitely. But I would always try and convince somebody no, just because have they proven to not anyone else but themselves that they can adhere to their nutrition, their lifestyle, their routine, their training? Have they maximized every route of progression that they have? Not to the max, because I hate when people say, "Oh, can you reach your natural limit?" What is your natural limit? You're never going to know that. It's something you can't control. It's something you'll never find out. It's something that I completely respect the fact of natural bodybuilding, where it's going. Like we said many times in this podcast, if I was to go to a natural bodybuilding show or a PCA show, I would happily go to a natural show because at the moment, natural bodybuilding is really, really good, which it should be. It should not be in the same light as enhanced. Obviously, enhanced and the Olympia and pro shows are always going to get a little bit more just because they're bigger. People like the same big people. But when a natural goes, "Oh, I've not reached my natural limit." Well, what is your natural limit? You're never going to find out your natural limit. Even if you do, you're still going to think you can achieve more. So, like, like Connor said, age. Then again, people might take it younger because there might be genetically gifted. You see these 21-year-old Spanish dudes who are literally going to the Olympia, the youngest ever IFBB pro, like
Yeah.
Jack Eagles, mate. Had to prove to himself that he could do it. Got a great coach, pays for everything. He's literally competed naturally many times. Mate, he had the genetics for it. Next thing you know, he's what UK's youngest natural IFBB pro. You got
Yeah.
the guy in America who's 20 years old, the youngest classic IFBB pro. The freak, the classic physique dude, Yosef, whatever his name is, 21, 22 years old, right? You have these freaks who've been on it for a while, but they are genetic outliers. They are genetic outliers who, again, though, have proved to themselves that they can do it year on year from a very young age. And it is definitely something to take into consideration. And always and say to yourself, why do you actually want to do it? Because a lot of the majority of the time, mate, people go on steroids or they go on SARMs beforehand because they don't want to take the real stuff. Okay, which by the way, please never take SARMs
Was causing more damage than.
because exactly because they feel the pressure of social media to look a certain way. That is not a good enough excuse to take performance enhancing steroids. It isn't. I'm sorry, performance enhancing drugs. It isn't just because you want to look as. I know people obviously might go down the enhanced route because they want to look big or whatnot. But then again, you still got to make sure your training is good, your nutrition is good, because PEDs isn't going to mask the fact that your nutrition is shit, and your training is dog, and your recovery is crap. Okay, you need to make sure all those variables are in check before going on. So prove yourself that you can do that,
Yeah.
and then obviously it's going to aid that massively. But then again, you got to think of the cons: fertility, acne. Bro, like people go, oh yeah, it doesn't happen to the majority of people, but it might happen to you. Like you might
There's
stick a
not.
needle in you,
There,
and you
there is
might,
a chance that it
yeah,
will.
there is a chance that it might happen to you. Like as soon as you get to stick the needle in you, mate, like you are simply shutting off your own natural testosterone production because your body is knowing that it's getting it from an external source and goes, I don't need to produce this naturally anymore, so I'm getting it from an external source. That is what your body thinks. So you're shutting off your natural testosterone production. So fertility might be, do you want kids down the line? Whatever. Acne, like you said, cost. Honestly, all the cons as well. And people just go, oh yeah. I mean, the amount of people that I know that are on steroids and they don't even have their blood work.
Mental.
Like I don't even have any words for it, mate.
It's,
Genuinely,
it's
it
more
baffles me.
common that way than it is now for people to have their blood work, which is
Mate,
really
honestly, the amount of people that mate, the amount of people that I see when they come on board, can I see your last blood work results? And they go, it's either I got it done 2 years ago when I started, or I've not had them done recently. Okay, so you haven't had your blood work done, and you're on your third cycle. Sound. Okay,
brilliant.
great stuff. And if you are not willing to do that, you want no. It's like
I think
it's no.
I think one of the big things that I see at the moment is in the world of TikTok particularly, but social media as a whole, it's a trend to take steroids. Um, and it's a trend to promote that you're taking them and stuff like this, especially at a young age, a younger age at the moment. Like I'm seeing a lot more younger kids taking them now than they were fucking, I don't know, 5 years ago, 10 years ago.
Mhm.
Um, so that's obviously concerning, but I think that they're seeing it so much on social media, fucking thrown in their face from all of these influencers, and now they're jumping on without realizing the actual harm that they can cause themselves by doing it.
Mhm.
And I don't think that there's enough research being done by these individuals before they use. It's like
For sure,
there's
mate. For
a
sure, that's the
there's a
biggest thing.
video there's a video by Seth Feroci, um, which was it was probably posted like 2 years ago, 3 years ago now, where he sits in his truck and he just talks when he's driving. And it's I think it's literally just called Steroids Will Kill You. And obviously Seth, if you don't know who Seth is, Seth's like a retired 212 pro, massive in the industry, a huge name, owns Axe and Sledge supplements and whatnot. And he's fucking ranting on about how younger kids are now taking steroids without knowing what they'll actually do, and how he breaks down like the damage that it can cause you and why he had to retire because of it, and like all the side effects that he went through. Like there are so many videos like that, and in that one being at the top of my list that I think people need to watch, and then their own research on top of it, plus a coach to give them a second opinion, and probably someone to give them a fucking third opinion, because this shit is life changing. Like you said, the moment that needle goes in, whether you're, the 99% that don't get shut down fully, but you could be that 1% that gets shut down completely forever with one pin. And is that one pin worth it?
I know, mate. I know. And as well, that third party should be your family. Mate,
Yeah,
the amount of people that I have say, my mum doesn't know. So,
crazy. I've got that as
mate,
well.
I was there like the first, mate. I remember sitting everyone down in my living room. Charles, my nan, my stepdad, my mum, and I said, "You've seen what I've been through for the past year. I am doing this," and I made sure that I had consults with coaches prior. I was doing all my research anyway. And over that period of time, I was still doing research as well. So how to administer, obviously what to do, what is TRT? People don't even know what TRT is. What is a obviously replacement dose testosterone to go into a physiological range? What gets you into super physiological range? Pinning frequency, where to pin, how to pin, like all these different things to do. And it might seem like very, very simple, but honestly, these things are the things that you think about when you first go on. And honestly, these variables of, like I said, cost, health, like don't underestimate. Please don't underestimate, because that is the biggest mistake people do. They underestimate. Oh, it's all right. I'll just do it for 6 months. Come off. I'll be sound. Whatever. Next thing you know, what do they do afterwards? And this is why they say, wait, how many times you've got questions saying, "Hello, mate. Do you PCT after your cycle, or do you go into TRT?" You should already know that.
Yeah.
You should already know this sort of stuff. What do you take for acne? You should already know this stuff, because guess what? You should have already thought about that before taking it. And if it does happen, what to take. Like,
Yeah.
you should already know. In my opinion, you should have already looked at that. I don't know if it's just me. Like, I'm like,
No, I think you should be prepared for it like fully before you even buy anything. Like
yeah.
know every angle of what you're doing.
And as well, when you buy anything in life, you know what it does, right? And you know the outcome of what. For example, when you buy a Ninja Cream, by the way, I haven't got one. You know what it is. You know what it does. You know how to work it. You're not going to buy something without knowing what it does to your whole body. Oh, it's going to get me big. Oh, great, sound. Next thing you know, they have no clue what it actually does to the
Yeah,
body. What you're actually doing. Like,
exactly.
do you know what I mean? It's crazy,
I think
and it's
I think one of the sort of what you were touching on with the family bit, I think it's something that I realized after I started, just through sitting down and thinking about it a little bit more in depth, is that how selfish this is by doing it. And that is like with it being such a selfish endeavor, bodybuilding as a whole, but to the next level is taking drugs that can shorten your life expectancy. Um, like
Mhm.
you have to think about how that affects people around you, like whether it be like friends, but mainly family. You know, your parents. Cool. Do they understand it? Kind of try and educate them, like why you're doing it, what you're doing. Keep them up to date. Show them your blood test results. Show them what you're doing to help combat any sort of side
Yeah,
effect.
that's exactly what I did.
Very selfish, and you don't want them to panic about it. I think that's something that you get a lot in the like. I had a client, obviously not going to name names, but I had a client who came to me when he was on gear, messaged me while he was obviously still living at home, and was like, "How should I tell my mum?" I was like, "How long have you been on, right?" He was like, "Oh, I've been on for like the last 2 years." I was like, "Okay," when you have like they don't know. He was like, "No, I haven't told them yet." I was like, "Well, you probably fucking should." He was like, it's that type of thing where it's like you have to really fucking think about it.
But you have to. Yeah, and it's honestly, I know obviously it's a good topic to talk about, but just don't be silly with it. Think rational before you do anything. Sit down, look at all the cons and look at the pros. I'm telling you right now, even in our position right now, and Connor would probably happily admit to this, there are more cons than pros. There is. Okay. You might not ever have kids again. You might obviously be reducing your overall life expectancy. You might be putting stress on your body. The pro is obviously the pro is to become your dream. Obviously there is. So but you got to think of that is the pro to become, obviously, that you'll achieve your dream, right? And that's where it outweighs the cons massively. But ultimately, there is more cons.
Definitely.
There is more cons than pros, right? And this is where you got to think of me and Connor, and I don't mind talking about this. Me and Connor, right? I obviously go into physiological ranges and use different compounds, but I'm never going to be as good as Connor, right? I probably won't take what Connor will in the future to achieve that card. I know that. I'm happy with that. I'm happy with the consequences. Okay. But guess what? I've educated myself. I've surrounded myself with people who are honest. And as well, I put myself in a position where I understand the consequences. Like I said, I've weighed up the pros and cons. Like I said, it was different in my scenario, but obviously, with where I'm at, my goals are with bodybuilding, Connor's are way more than mine because he's genetically better than me at bodybuilding. And when you go on steroids, you hear people go, "Oh well, if I'm not going to be an IFBB pro, then I won't go on it." It is true. Like my goal is to be the best bodybuilder I can be, whether that's a really good amateur, UK amateur, or I might get a pro card one day. Doesn't know. Connor has a greater chance of doing that. So does a lot of the people, and that warrants them taking it. So, and that's the dream as well. So sit down at your own goals, weigh up, okay, where you're at. Like I'm 6'4". Connor's like 6 foot, sorry, which
Oh,
is
really?
5'8", right? It's going to take me, right? And this is where, with me being bigger, I need more to fill out more. I need more, essentially. It's
Yeah.
going to take me longer, and my exposure to achieve the same goal as Connor is going to have to be probably a lot more and for a longer period of time. So that is something that I have to take into consideration. And again, is it realistic for me to do that? It might be. Next thing you know, in the next 2, 3 years, I might blow up, and next thing you know, I might become I don't know, might find this new job that I'm not hyper responded to. But the point that I'm trying to say is look at where you're at, what you can achieve, and where your application is, and don't compare yourself to, I want to look like this guy. Okay, well, I'm 6'4", and this guy looks jacked. He's 5'6". Great stuff.
Yeah.
You're not going to have to. You're going to have to take a little bit more than him, most likely, to achieve
Wow.
the same look as him. So, look at where you're at from a realistic perspective. Look at your goals, your trajectory. How long are you going to want to do this for? Because people, I highly respect the people that and the naturals that go, oh, are you ever going to go assisted? And they go, no, I love bodybuilding. I love the lifestyle, but am I going to do this forever? No. So what's the point? I respect that highly. But obviously, like I said, with where my goals are, I want to be a really good bodybuilder. So essentially, that's why. And that is my and that goal for me weighs out all the cons. But guess what? I do everything I possibly can do to reduce those cons. I get all the health subs from JP. I make sure that I'm doing my cardio every single day. And I have done my cardio every single day since prep, which I promised myself I would do and kept doing every single day. So I know my health's all good. I get my blood work done every 16 weeks, every 4 months. And if I know I'm pushing things a little bit more, I might get it done every 14, 12 weeks.
Yeah.
Okay. Like I know I do that. And I know, and my family know that. My family see all the subs. My family are worried that I'm taking too many health subs,
That's the
which you
way
can,
it should fucking be.
which you can do, by the way, because obviously you might be just doing having too much that pisses through the liver. But like my family, they're like, "Do you need all those tablets?" Yes, because if I weren't, I'll be doing what, mate. And people say, "Oh, what are you taking?" Oh, an omega,
Just one.
just a krill oil. Okay, like that's what I would say. Look at where you're at. Look at okay, what are you actually doing this for? Because a lot of people just like if you actually break it down, look at yourself in the mirror and go, why am I actually doing this?
Yeah.
Trust me, you find out a lot of answers. And if you talk to yourself honestly, am I doing this for validation of others, where I just want people to look at me and go, oh yeah, you're looking great, mate? Or are you actually doing it to be the best bodybuilder? Are you trying to do it to become a pro? Are you trying to be it to be one of the best bodybuilders in the country or whatnot? Is that your reason why? Have you proven to yourself years after years after years that you can nail your nutrition, your recovery, your training? Are you willing to improve your knowledge? Are you willing to have people around you that are going to be honest? Have you got a good coach in your corner? Are you willing to get your health subs? Are you willing to get your blood work done? And then guess what? Are you willing to think that you're doing the most you possibly can do, then try and find ways to with improving, making it better all the time?
Mhm.
If the answer is yeah, then you prove it to yourself. I would still think to try not to.
Yeah.
It's weird.
The thing is, with all of those things that you can be doing before making that jump, do those for years, like
Yeah, mate.
for
Honestly,
years.
like, people don't
Practice
realize
enough.
the amount.
You'll progress.
Mhm.
Yeah. I mean,
So
with a lot of the stuff that I was doing before I started, like I always feel like I sound like a hypocrite saying it because I started at 18. But the thing is, like, I had been training properly since probably since about 16, but I'd be training in the gym since about.
mhm.
I'd been trained. I had a lot of years of training under my belt, whether them being great or not. Still had like experience under my belt. Had a coach, very knowledgeable coach who had obviously a knowledgeable coach above him, so feeding through even more information. And it felt like the right time because everything I was doing was on lock and in place for 2 years dead straight, like no missing. And I was like, cool, I wanted to do it. I know I wanted to do it. And I know I was going to do it at some point. Why not now? And whether that be the right approach or not, or right mindset or not, the approach was right because I had my bloods done early. I checked absolutely everything before even buying anything. I got my gear, I got everything in order, knew what I'd be taking, knew what I could expect to happen in regards to any side effects that could come. And I had everything monitored. I had blood glucose, blood pressure monitored pretty much daily, if not every other day. Everything was on point. So it's like it is down to the small things, but those things all add up. And if you can do those for years and years on end, and then you can consider it, then cool, go for
Hmm.
it.
Most definitely. Like, mate, honestly, that is the be all and end all. Have you proven to yourself? What are your reasons for doing it? Have you measured up the cons? Actually, the cons of what you want to happen, and everything alongside it. Like I said, the cons always outweigh the pros in anything like this. And if you can justify, obviously, looking at the cons, because like you said, mate, people always go, "I looked at those cons, and those cons are worth it." That's fair enough. But
Well,
you can't. At
that's
the end of
them.
the day,
Yeah.
that's them. That's fair enough. But do the cons outweigh the pros for you, or do the pros outweigh the cons? Have
Yeah.
a sit down, have a think, and look at where you want to be. Look at your goals in life, and take your decision from there. But don't rush into anything. Don't go, oh, my mate took this and he looked like this. Because guess what? I could take 2 times the amount as what Connor's taken. Guess what? I could still look worse than him. Probably would do as well. And I'm sound with that. I'm,
Mm.
I'm chill. But guess what? I wouldn't do that because I know I'd still look worse than Connor. So, do you know what I mean? Like, you get it, and the more and more you know, the more and more you do it, the more and more you realize, like, it is all about consistency and doing it for a long period of time. It is. And in this sport, health and longevity is the single-handedly most important thing that you can do. I love training. I want to do it for years and years and years and years. Why would I jeopardize that by taking something and then not looking after my health?
Yeah.
Like, people look at echocardiograms and go, what? ECGs, what? Like, at the end of the day, like, these are the health precautions. Like, you see people having heart attacks.
Yeah.
Like,
More
you
frequently
see
than
people
not.
actively from their PED use, actively talking about it, saying, I wish I had an echocardiogram sooner. I wish I had an ECG sooner. I wish I was taking this. I wish I was taking that. And people just go, oh, no, I'll take it because my mate took it. He was sound. So I'm sound. Like, people are act, and I'm glad that people are talking about it more because it is a taboo subject. Because
Yeah.
if, and this might sound, but you see people going out every weekend, getting off their heads, right? Realistically, people taking steroids and that people say steroids. You mentioned steroids, man. But next
Yeah.
thing you know, you got Barry who's going out 4 times a week, getting off his head. Doesn't look after his nutrition. Doesn't do cardio. Doesn't train. Doesn't do any form of activity. Doesn't take any subs. Doesn't look after his hydration. Doesn't look after his food. Next thing you know, you know what I mean? I'm not saying oh give that as an excuse because some people go, well, if I take this, you can't go out and have a takeaway. But I'm just saying it's like it is a taboo subject for that reason. It always has done, and it always will be, in my opinion.
Yeah. I think something to preface as well is like, yeah, you hear about a fair few deaths within bodybuilding, but the ones that you're hearing are like the bigger, well-known names within the scene.
Yeah, who have been doing it
Are
for
thousands
ages.
or more
Uh-huh.
dying pretty much daily or like weekly from steroid use.
Yeah.
But they just don't post on social media, or they're not a well-known bodybuilder, or they're not even a bodybuilder at all. But steroids has
Yeah.
killed them. So it's like
All that.
that.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay, we've seen what in the last 5 years we've seen like big names such as Luke, um, Sean, it's all slipping my mind now, but fucking loads of them, right? All kicking the bucket, all dead. But mate, there's thousands of others. So it's
Yeah,
like
man.
it's a very, very serious and it's quite
Or
scary.
they get like, or they get like a condition where their
Yeah,
liver's shut down, their kidneys are shut down, or this isn't working, or this isn't working. Like it's you honestly, like I cannot stress enough the health implications if you don't have everything in place. Or understandably, it is unhealthy. Even when taking health subs, it is still unhealthy.
yeah,
But the reason why we take health subs is to obviously mitigate that risk that we are essentially having. So even though people go, "Oh yeah, I'm still looking after everything," you're still putting yourself at risk.
yeah.
Like
Don't
you're
get it
still
twisted.
not,
Those health stops aren't going to
yeah,
stop,
they aren't going to save you.
but they
Like
can help.
you might still be infertile. You can
Yeah,
do everything to stop your acne, but you might still have acne. Like you might lose your hair. Like like
exactly.
obviously a lot of it is genetics in terms of that sort of stuff. But then again, that might be you. That might be you. Um, But like I said, like people's rationale are all different. People go on because, oh, I just want to look big. Like I
Yeah,
said, if the pros outweigh the cons for them, that's fine. Okay,
go
you
for it.
can't tell, you can't tell. But if a client comes to me wanting to go on gear, I will jump on a call with them. I'll run through all the cons, run through where they're at, and go from there. But if they do go on it, right, firstly, I would have done everything in my power for them not to, but I'll make sure they do everything properly and by the book. And as a coach, it is super important to do that. And I'm sorry, but if you're a coach and you're going, yeah, we'll take this and we'll take this and we'll make you look like this, and I'm sorry, but you are the lowest of the low. Like Christian will vouch for me in saying that he will actively tell people, trying to steer people away from it, and that's what you should do, in my opinion. If somebody goes, I'm going to do it anyway, right? If I'm with you or
That's when
not,
you step in
then
and
it's different and being like, okay, well, I'd rather you be with me while you do it, so you can do it in the best, safest way possible and the healthiest way possible. Okay, great, that's cool. But if you can have someone to sit down, talk to, run through the pros, run through the cons, run through where they're at, obviously run through all the stuff that we just ran through, sit them down, and go from there. That's the best way to do things. But I'd say we've covered everything there, mate.
I
We've
can't,
covered
yeah,
everything.
I can't think of anything that we've missed. Yeah,
But I'm happy that we're talking about it because I feel like it needs to be talked about more. Obviously, it comes from two different, completely perspectives. Where obviously Connor took it when he was 18. I took it through the NHS, literally through. I was going to have it anyway through the NHS.
yeah,
So I was on TRT for numerous amounts of months before, obviously sitting down and going, do I actually want to go and use different compounds or go into a super physiological range of testosterone and stuff? And I thought that's when I sat down again. So I sat down firstly saying, do I want to take TRT, going through all the pros and cons? And then I thought I sat down and went, I'm going to start taking more because I want my goals. But over that period of time, even before TRT and while I was on TRT, I was training well. I was doing all my nutrition, coaching. So I had 2 years where I proved to myself that I'm doing that. And then even my parents know, my family know that they see me do it every single day. Obviously, I had Christian as a coach at that time. So you've got a good coach. You've proven to us that you can do it. You've proven to yourself. And obviously, you get the backing of them. You get the respect of them. So then I still haven't touched half of what other people have taken, mate. Like, it's mental. Some people go, oh, I'm taking this, I'm taking that. Mad. But enough
that's
about me.
perfect. That's everything covered, I
Yeah,
think.
man, for sure. It is. But yeah, little breakdown. Always look at the cons, weigh up where you're at, look at the health implications. Have you got a good coach? Have you got good people around you? Are you financially ready? Are you going to be financially? Because people go, oh, yeah, I'm in a financially position or in a good financial position now. Are you going to be for later on down the line when you want to use more things? And are you getting your blood work done? Are you prioritizing your health? Have you proven to yourself with health, training, etc., recovery, all that sort of stuff? So that's a good one.
I
We'll
like
go
that.
through more topics.
I
We'll
think
go through more topics like that. Get some. But like I said, if you got any questions, guys, drop us a message on Instagram. I'm sure from Connor as well, will be happy to sort of help
definitely.
and go through a few things. But we'll see you. Well, thank you for listening. Like, subscribe, comment on YouTube. The last one is actually on Spotify. I'm going to say this one is going to be as well. I'm going to go for
Okay,
2 for 2 for Spotify. So if you're on Spotify, give us a little 5-star rating there as well and tag us on your stories. And also, as well, if there's any topics that you want us to cover, please message us and we will do it. We want to sort of bring out content that you guys want to listen to, and we'll put our little polls and we'll go from there. But thank you for listening, and we'll see you in the next one.